Hey everybody, welcome to week 6. I can't believe how fast it's going this semester. We're already in the midst of our second unit, which is on the ancient Mediterranean. And I just wanted to say, first of all, I'm going to give you the intro here and what we're going to do, an overview. But also in this overview, there's another couple of videos you might notice that there was more than just one. And the second one is a must-see. It is, Carl, the Claymeister, the mysterious Claymeister, performs a miracle. Anyways, it's like 2 minutes, maybe not that, but it's funny. You should watch it. Anyways, the other one is Parts is Parts, and it just gives kind of this overview of what we're going to be thinking about and doing, which is we are in the midst of also doing a base in progress. In other words, you're just doing the parts and thinking about it and setting them aside. I just want to remind you, anything you're making, like your base, don't let it dry out yet. Keep it leather hard. And the things you do this week, keep them leather hard. Just wrap them, maybe spritz them a little bit with, if you got a water bottle, just spritz a little bit, not soggy wet. That's not a good idea. Just spritz it and wrap it, and then double wrap it if you're not working on it. If you're going to go away, for a day or something, make sure you double wrap it and it's airtight. Okay? I want these things to, I want to avoid any of the common problems. People letting things dry out and they're like, I can't put it together. Well, it's too dry. So keep things leather hard, and you're starting to become a connoisseur of clay little by little, and knowing when it's good to work on and when you try to keep it the way it is. All right, enough of that. So watch the Parts is Parts, and it'll just give you an overview of what you're going to be thinking about. So one more thing to be thinking about as you're working this week is you're going to be making this pot with a base and a foot and a neck and then handles. And if you want to, you can put a lid on it, but that's going to be an added problem that, it's not required. But you can decide to do that if you want, and you know how to do a lid now because we've done one with a slab. So. And if you do that, you're going to need to have something to lift it off with. So that might be a little sculpture up top, right? All right. What I want you to think about is what's going to be on this pot, right? We're not living in ancient Greece. We're riffing off them. We're vibing off of them. And we're making this pot that is kind of like tells a story. And so there's going to be a story on this pot. And in coming years, your friends and family are going to point to it up on the shelf and say, remember when you did that? So what are you going to put on there? And don't get too complicated. It doesn't need to be this elaborate, keep it simple. But just start thinking about ideas. Start sketching them out. You maybe are, on a napkin or something. Just maybe see things in magazines and you say, oh, maybe they're like an icon on one side and an icon on the other, like from a computer. Maybe really simple cartoon-like drawings, like one on both sides. Just start thinking about it. No assignments about that yet this week, but I want you to start thinking, this is going to be a pot that's my pot, and it's going to be my vase that has a story that I told or will tell at this point. So just coming attractions. Just start thinking about it, because next week I'm going to show you all that and do, some lectures on telling stories and just keeping it simple, and also show you how to take the body of your pot and apply the line patterns that you want, or I'll show you how you can also do a relief sculpture where it pops out a little bit. So you'll have those options. There's no wrong answer, but you're going to have to put something on it for design, and something that tells some kind of an indication that it wasn't an imitation of an ancient Greek pot, but it was a pot that is from our milieu, fancy word, from our time period right now, from this moment we're all living through, such as it is. All right, with that all said, here's what we're going to do this week. Just run down through quickly what you're going to do. You're going to view a lecture on organizing variables, which is that whole thing we're doing on the side about formalism, like how do you look at art and what makes art. You're going to read, go through that and respond to it, and it's talking about pots. You're going to respond in like 25 words, easy. but you got to watch the video first and write your 25 words, and there you go. Secondly, you're going to complete this week's R&D. There's just one R&D. I didn't break it into parts, and it is simply to design a foot and neck for your base in progress, right? So you have that template still from last week, and you are going to create a couple templates for a base and a couple of templates for a neck. Not one, but two. So make them dramatically different. You know, if one of them goes like the base at the bottom does that, well, maybe the other one will go. If one, lip or neck, is narrow and thin, creating a bottle shape, maybe the other one's dramatic and round and tall. Anyways, you can do more than two bases and two rims, but do two at least that fit to the template you have that you completed last week for your body. So at the end of it, you're going to be able to line them up and see what it looks like and do variations on that. That's the idea. So complete this week's R&D. It's all about thinking about it ahead. With that said, you're going to come up with an idea. You're going to say, that's really cool. I'm going to do that. With that said, as you're working in these coming weeks, it might change. And you might think, well, I'm going to change this a little, and I'm going to change that a little bit. And is that okay? Yes, it's okay. We want to start with an idea, and we want to start with something that you can live with, and you think, this could work, and this is fine. I'm happy with it. But then the magic is sometimes you're in the process, and you go, but I never thought of this. Maybe I'll do that instead. Fine. Okay? All right, you get it. So you're going to do your R&D with ideas. Then you're actually going to make a base, and you're going to make a neck. And you're going to have your actually clay body around so that you can kind of be putting them in place and think, oh, that's too big, that's too small, and doesn't look right. Anyways, that's the next thing, is to actually make them. So create a clay foot and neck that fits the clay body of your base in progress, right? Again, keep them wrapped up individually wrapped. Don't try to stack them yet. That's, we want to work on them all and have them. It's much more easy to work on all the parts, and then at the very end, you can always see how they're going by putting them in place. But then at the very end, we'll put them together. Okay. Lastly, you want to view a lecture on Crete, and this lecture is meant to be an amplification so that you can visualize what the article is. And the article is, it's about Crete in particular by an author and a woman that I just have great respect for, Riane Eisler. And she's just, I don't know, her scholarship and her devotion to her topic, her, field of study to art, but also to archaeology. She's pretty cool, but she puts into perspective this era we're studying of the ancient Mediterranean, specifically Crete and the Minoans. And my lecture is simply to show you visuals about that, because in the article it's all written. There's no pictures. Sad face. So I'm going to provide the pictures, and then when you read the articles, you can kind of visualize a little better that thing she's talking about, right? Okay, so read the article. And respond. Brief response. Again, 25 words. 25 or 50, something like that. Brief. Keep it brief. Don't go over the limits on that. So you might think to yourself, but I like to just talk a lot, and I like to say a lot of stuff, and I like to write. This is your assignment. Keep it brief. Because everybody's going to read. And if something's like pages long, people go, whoa, too much. Keep it succinct. And think how much information can be given in a really well, composed poem, like a haiku or something. You can say a ton in just a few words. So you might write, and it's 75 words, and then say, how can I break this down so that it's 25 words or whatever it happens to be? Boop. Okay. All right. And after you've seen the Crete lecture, it's a PowerPoint, do the Greek reading. And my suggestion, as always, is that you complete the study guide. If you can do that and complete the study guide, then go on to ace the Crete quiz. There's a lot of a lot of questions, but I think they're all important questions. And if you wing it, you might not do so well on the quiz. So just print out the quiz or whatever, however you need to do it, and or not the quiz, but print out the study guide and just fill it in as you go along. It's easy. All right. And I hope that you are really, if you have more interest in the work of Riane Eisler, the book that this reading comes from, it's called The Chalice and the Blade. It's a good read. It's not an easy, it's not like, it's a complicated explanation of a time period that we didn't really know much about until the last 50 years. They didn't even know this whole segment of history, especially in European history, even happened. But it also goes all the way around the world, and there's more books being written on how it applies to the whole world. Anyway, it's a mystery, but it's interesting. And if you want to know more, there it is. And I even put up on a couple places another book that she's written, if you're curious. All right. So lastly, take the quiz, and there's another 2 videos at the very end of the agenda on Canvas, which is to view the intro videos on glazing. It kind of shows you what Carl and I are doing, and also gives you some ideas about how you can kind of be looking and telling us more specifically how you'd like some of your work glazed as the semester goes on. Okay, but if you bring it as you have it. Okay, have a good week. As always, email me if you have any questions. Show up for office hours. It's nice to talk and see people and have this conversation where you talk back. And if you need to, if you really want to talk to me, just give me a call. And if you don't still have my cell number, email me and I'll give it to you. So, have a good week, and we will talk to you later. Bye.